Good morning, everybody. This week, you're going to add on to the transformations where you're going to have a vertical shift, or I think on your worksheet it may say vertical phase. It means the same thing. So your graph is going to be moving either up or down based upon what's given in the equation. So what I'm going to do, because eventually what you're going to have to do is graph sine or cosine functions with several transformations. So you're going to start with this, y equals -3 sine of theta. Remember, theta just means the angle. If you have x here, that means the same thing, and then -5. So notice, compared to your foundation graph of y equals sine of theta, or sine of x, you have 1, 2, 3 transformations. You have a negative sign for the coefficients. So that means there's going to be a horizontal reflection across your horizontal. You have a vertical shift of 3, so you have an amplitude change. That's why here they have a is equal to the absolute value of -3. And then you have a vertical shift of -5. So that means you're going to go down 5. For this week, you're not going to have any period change. That's going to come next week, and I'll talk about that later, and I'll be doing videos on that. Now, what I like to do, how I like to graph this is this. I'd like to start with the vertical shift, so down 5. And what I do is I draw a horizontal dotted line. This is going to be my new horizontal. So all of the points from the sine graph that are on this horizontal, they're now going to be here. So watch this. So my starting point is now going to be here, because every point on the graph of sine of x, compared to sine of x, your parent graph, is going to be shifted down 5. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to graph going to the right and then to the left for the sine graph. Okay. So remember, on the regular sine graph, you start going up, go to your horizontal, go down, and then back up. But because there is a reflection across the axis, you're actually going to go down. What I also have to do is I have to make sure that, look at my numbers here on the vertical, that my low point is 3 below the new horizontal, which I have here. My high point is going to be 3 above this right here. So then I have a mistake here. This should be -2. I had the correct space, but the wrong number. Okay. So the distance between these two, going from the horizontal to the low point, that shows an amplitude of 3. And then going from here to this point right here, that also shows an amplitude of 3 for your high point. Okay. So watch this. So I'm here, and I just go directly in terms of the angles, because the angles don't change in this situation. So I go down. Then, since I'm at my lowest point, I have to go up, but I have to go through the horizontal, high point, and then back down to the horizontal. So my one period to the right of this looks like this. Okay, so remember, the sine graph is an odd function, so the movement from the starting point to the right is not the same as to the left. So as I go here, as I move to the left here in this situation, using these transformations, I'm going to go up to my highest point, right? And then since I'm at my highest point, I have to go down to I have to start going down, go through the horizontal, down to my lowest point, and then back up to the horizontal. So then it looks like this. Then put an arrow here and an arrow here. All right. So I'm showing you how to graph with the 3 transformation of a reflection across the x, amplitude change, and a vertical shift down 5. Now your domain, this is continuous as you look left to right, is from -infinity to +infinity. Then your range is just going to go from -8 to -2. So these points are included, so you have brackets like that. Okay. So remember to stop or rewind or anything, anytime that you don't understand a particular concept. Right, so I have one other one on the back, and I wanted to do one with cosine. Right, but this time in cosine, there are only two transformations. So the amplitude is positive, so the amplitude is 4, and then you have a vertical shift up 3, because it's plus 3 this time. And the period, the length of period stays the same, that is 2 pi. So just like I described before, excuse me, in the previous problem, I'm going to start this with the vertical shift up 3. So my new horizontal is at 3. So I want to make sure that my high point is 4 above that, so it's 7. And then my low point is 4 below this, so I'm going to be at -1. So remember the cosine graph, it starts at the highest point. So here we are here. Then as I move right and left, since it's an even function, the movement's the same. I'm at the highest point, then I have to start going down. So I go through the horizontal here. I go down to my lowest point here, and then I have to start going back up. So from here to the horizontal, and then back up to the high point. So it looks like that. Then I do the same thing over here. From here, I start going down to the horizontal. Then I'm at my lowest point. Then I have to start going back up to the horizontal and then to the high point. Okay. So a quick check, from here to here is 4, and from here to here is 4. That's what I want to show for the amplitude. So right here, the domain, another continuous graph from -infinity to +infinity. What's the range? -1 to +7. Low point to high point. Okay. So there are two examples where you have multiple transformation. I'm going to be creating more videos that I'm going to give to you this week that have to do with period change. I think I did one video that previewed that, and I want to do a little more because that tends to be a little more complicated, especially when you have to add in other transformations with a period change. Again, if you have any further questions, make sure that you email me, and I hope you guys have a great day.